Hello again, everyone. I thought I would carry on in the same vein as yesterday and use some vellum again. Several people were asking me what vellum I used, and this is what it is. It's from Anne-Marie Designs, vellum paper, 50 in a pack, and it's 140 GSMs. So a British company, I believe, annemaridesigns.co.uk. So that is what I'm using, and it's a really lovely weight. I'm afraid I've been a bit naughty with this stamp, and it must have been curled up in the drawer. I have a pile of these stamps, and it's got a curly corner, so I'm trying to hold it down with a little bit of glue stick, but we'll see. So my card today, I intend doing 5x7. This is the base ready to fold. This is the panel ready to do something with, and this is a bit of scrap. So there we go. I want to do a technique that I think I created myself quite some years ago. I did a tutorial on split coast stampers for it. It's where you stamp on vellum, but you stamp on both sides. So I can't remember exactly what I did before, but on one side today, I'm going to use exactly the same colours that I did yesterday. I am going to use white, and on the other side, I'm going to emboss in gold. So my idea being, I will take a couple of these oval Presscut dies. They're nesting dies, as you can see, and to make a little frame, I'll have some of this behind it. I'm going to cut an aperture, have that behind it, and or do I need to make an aperture? I might be able to just put it behind the frame. I'm thinking as I'm going here, and then have some more cut from the same stuff to make some little flowers just to decorate the border of the frame. And I am wondering whether to sort of triple emboss the frame to make it into a nice rounded sort of shape. So that's kind of the idea. Maybe a sentiment going into across this shape. Don't know, we'll see. So the first thing I'm going to do is my double stamping. So I've got a piece of vellum here that fits like that. This is a big old stamp. It's a 5x5, 6x6 or something. How big is it? I think it's Impression Obsessions, this one. Which side's the inches? It's just under 6 inches. And it's from Simon Says Stamp, and I think it's called Rose Leaves or something like that. But they've got a lovely texture, so there's, you can see all the little holes and things in it. So what I've been wondering about this morning was whether to just stamp in plain white ink or whether to stamp in Versamark and emboss in white. I think I might just stamp in white and see how we go on. Okay, let's just ink up this stamp. You can be able to see the lovely, can you see that gorgeous texture in these leaves? I just hope this is enough for it to show up. I may have to make an aperture and then put something deeper behind the colour-wise for it to show through the vellum. I don't know, we'll see. This is Hero Arts Pigment ink, and the colour's called Unicorn. It's the best white ink I've found. In fact, I couldn't find it. A lovely lady called Marie in France found it and sent it to me because I was having real trouble trying to find anywhere. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, Marie. Now I'm just going to pop this on the top and then rub over with my fingers, keeping it nice and still. It's a beautiful, beautiful stamp. If you don't have a big stamp like this and you've got the odd dies with a nice bit of texture like that, it's excellent. What we do want is the fact that there's gaps, a few little gaps in between where the impression that's on the other side should be able to show through. Even if you get it exactly, you know, in the same place as far as the stamp is concerned, it'll be different because it's facing the other way, if you know what I mean. Right, let's have a look at this and see how we've done. You can rub over this with a brayer if you want to, but I really quite like just using my fingers. I'm not going to use the whole of the piece anyway, so let's have a look. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my word, can you see it? It's absolutely stunning. Now I'm going to clean off my stamp and I'm going to either let that dry or dry it with my heat tool, so I'll be a moment or two. I'm back. I have been drying this with my heat tool, but because vellum is non-porous really, it doesn't absorb much moisture, it takes quite a long time to dry. So I want to stamp on this side now, but I don't want to smudge that side. So what I think it's okay. I've had a little feel, but I still think it's a bit vulnerable. So I'm going to press on, but I'm going to put a piece of paper over before I do any pressing down of the stamp on the other side. So I'm going to ink it up now with Versamark. I'm just going to put a quick swish of anti-static on this side. Just to try and stop any finger marks. I did press all over that when I was pressing down. So this is going to go onto here, and I'm going to press down through a piece of plain copy paper. Okay. That's so I'm not sliding my fingers over that previous stamping. Okay. Now I'm going to use this to put my embossing powder over. Right, just move that stamp out of the way. Here's my embossing powder. I'm going to pop it over here. I just love this technique. Came to me in a flash of inspiration one day. Don't come up with many original ideas, but I do love this one. Okay, I'm now going to heat set the gold side. Don't you think that heat embossing is just magical? I remember the very first time I got some embossing powder and a heat tool, I couldn't believe how wonderful it was. Now, at the minute, you can't see that white through very much, but if I put a darker background behind, I'll just grab something for the minute, just because a piece of felt here. But now, can you see the white shows through? You can either have it that way or you can have it that way. But obviously it's not so shiny on that side. But this is the side I'm going to use behind my aperture, my panel. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually make my little panel. So I've got a piece of scrap here. I put that over there for the minute. I've got a few extraneous bits of embossing powder here. Right, let's get my mat over. Now I'm going to tape this together so that I can get it kind of equidistant. I should be able to put it this way, I think, should I? Looks like it. Excellent. Right, I might cut two and stack them to give it a bit of substance to start with, really. Let's see. The secret of this is actually getting them to be equidistant all the way around. Oh, I've not moved it. I'll have to try again. Can you see? Thinner this side than it is that side. I thought I'd got it, and I think I moved it again at the last moment, so let's just try again. Okay, that's better. Right, we're not gonna have two layers, we're just gonna have one. But what I want to do with this is to sort of triple emboss it. By that I mean I'm going to put at least 3 layers. So I'm going to do stamping with Versamark, emboss, again 3 times. So I'll do one and then I'll do the other 2 without filming, because it's just boring. It's more of the same. The first one will put, you know, kind of a reasonable surface on, but you often get like pitting, little dimples in it. But the more layers you put on, the smoother it becomes, and the edges will be kind of rounded. Well, my my oval has been embossed 3 times with the gold, and you can see it's I love the way it rounds over the edges. And the other thought I did have is, should I emboss this as well? And I've got a feeling I'd quite like to do it, really. So let me just do that. That means putting 1 more layer on, and then while it's still molten, pressing the stamp into it. Could use this one. I think we'll try. Let's just go and try it. Okay, where's my piece? This is the piece I put the ink on with. All right, oops-a-daisy. Have 1 more layer. I'm also going to put more Versamark on this stamp. This is just to help stop the stamp sticking in the embossing powder. So we'll just see how we go on. Let's just see. So now I'll put the gold on. It'll flatten out when I've finished. I'll make it. Okay. Right. There we go. Now just put this onto here while I heat set it. I don't like the effect of the embossing. I can always remelt. I'm just going to stand up and press hard on this. Okay, let's try and see what we think. Oh, I like the effect there, but I didn't press hard enough on the right-hand side. So let me heat it again. I do like that effect, don't you? Ooh, lovely. Let's have a look. That's fine. Obviously, maybe gaps between where, you know, there were gaps on this, but I think that's lovely. Isn't it interesting? So now I'm put this away for the minute. As you see, though, if you don't like it, you can just reheat and start again. But I think that's nice. Now, here's my piece of embossing. Here's my front panel. Let me cut an aperture in this. So where do I want it to be? Just north of centre, I think. Just slightly north of centre, just in case I want to put a sentiment beneath it. I have a fancy for one going across, but we'll just kind of see. This is just a piece of kitchen surface type silicone, you know, that you can get for doing preparations in the kitchen. So let's just cut out the aperture. There it is. This is going to fit just around that aperture. This is going to fit behind it like so. I don't know if I want that colour. I don't know what colour I do want yet, but we will see. Maybe a sort of a deeper amber sort of colour, I don't know. I only need a small piece of this anyway. So let me cut some flowers. I've got various things here. Just wondering about size. Those might be a bit huge. These ones were free with the magazine. Or there's those. I think I like these. These were probably Memory Box or Simon Says Stamp or something like that. So let me just cut some of these out. These need gold on the edges. Let me stick this down because it's going to take a little while to stay. I have to put a weight on it to keep it until it's set. So I just put that on one side under a weight. Let me just do some that are plain. Decorated myself nicely as well. I'll see which I prefer, whether I prefer the plain ones or the colour, you know, the ones with the design on. Here's my front panel. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. I love that. Whoa. I could actually just wondering whether just have the subtlety of the white, making sure that that's I'm going to leave it white. So we're just to is that going to go directly underneath this? Yes, I think so. So, I'm talking to myself here, trying to persuade myself what I'm doing. Tape runner, I think, around here. I think we'll go for subtlety today. So I don't need much of this. That's quite nice there. So I'll just trim off what I don't need. The other stuff may come in for something, who knows? May use a bit of that for something. Right, now let's have a look at the flowers and the, do I like that? I think without the fancy, but I'll use those for something else. Decision, you know, it's tricky, isn't it? Deciding what you want. A couple of those. Right, I'm going to do plain vellum heart flowers, and I'm going to go and find a sentiment, stick this up onto foam tape. Yes, so that white can be seen through very subtly. I will see if I want to put something a little darker behind, but those are the flowers it's going to be. I'll cut a little foliage sprig from that as well. And those can go into the, you know, I'll use it sometime box. So I'll be back in just a moment. Well, I'm back. I found a happy birthday sentiment. This is very old. You can see it's a Hero Arts, and it was a 3er, and I decided to cut the stamp up so that I've got a single and I could put it together. So then I've got a 1 or 2 or a 3. So I thought that was quite a good wreath, really. But it's been in the dark, would you believe? It's been in a drawer, but even so, it's discoloured, but it still stamps beautifully. So anyway, I stamped it, embossed it, die cut it, and I've put some foam tape on the back with a gap so that it'll straddle the frame and sit flat, and it's going to go kind of there. So I'm going to stick that on now, and then I'll just show you the back. I have been kind of wondering what to do about whether to put a colour behind this, but you may not be able to see the effect either on a video or actually in a photograph. But when you actually hold this and just look at it, you can see the white showing through from the layer below. So I think I'm going to leave it subtle and just leave it, you know, I've put it onto foam tape so that it will be raised, so there's going to be a bit of shadow that'll kind of show through. So that's going to go there. Now, if you look on the back, you can see that the embossing actually shows through as brown because it's the back side of the embossing, which is not coloured. So you can use it without embossing. You could just use 2 different colours on each side of the paper. So I'm going to pop this on and I'm going to call it done. There's one more thing I did want to mention. As I was just putting these bits and pieces together, I noticed that there was a tiny, tiny little speck of gold. I think it must have been gilding wax on the front of my card, and oh dear, that's going to spoil it. It looks, well, you know, like a bit of a careless mistake. So what I did was take a Q-tip, one of these things. Don't know what people call them in different countries. Take one of those and just put a drop or 2 of alcohol onto it, my isopropyl alcohol, and I just gently moved it across the spot. I'll show you this. I've just seen another one. What I did was up there. You can't see it now. But if you look closely, there's a tiny drop there. Can you see that? The little tiny piece of gold. Stray gold. I may have picked it up from the desk when I turned the card over or something. I don't know. Got a tiny drop on there, and all I'm going to do is gently rub it. And it's gone. Now that alcohol that's left in there, the little mark, will evaporate. I can show you. I can just put my heat tool onto it. And the mark of the alcohol is evaporated, and that little gold mark is gone. So that might be quite useful to you. Anyway, I don't know how successful this card was. I actually quite like it, but probably some people will take exception to it. But anyway, it's an interesting technique. You may have seen something that you've been reminded of that you haven't seen for a long time, or you may have seen something that you haven't seen before, which is brilliant. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving me a thumbs up. Here's my little reminder. It does make a huge difference to me. Someone was saying that if you just watch 30 seconds of any advert, that makes a huge difference to creators as well. I didn't know that. Something new. So thank you so much, everyone, and do come back and see me very soon.